The New South Wales Government has also announced a mining royalty future fund to help support coal mining towns and create new jobs. $25 million a year will be set aside for the fund for the exclusive use of coal mining communities to help regions develop new industries. For more, I'm joined by Jay Rutovitz from the Institute of Sustainable Futures at the University of Technology, Sydney. You are joining us, though, from the UK, so I must say, firstly, thank you so much for hopping up at this early hour to join us.
Not a problem.
Now, we have learned of the New South Wales Future Fund to support coal miners and their towns on the same day that the federal government has announced more than $500 million in energy funding, specifically carbon capture and storage and hydrogen hubs. Do you think coal miners can be retrained, or workers in the coal sector more broadly can be retrained to take part in the evolving energy industry?
Without a doubt. So there's a lot of crossover between skills. I think it will need diversification into new industries, and I think the green steel is very prospective for this. There's been a lot of talk about not just setting up a green hydrogen export industry, but really using our amazing renewable resources to develop green steel and to do more processing onshore. And I think it's really important to start looking at this.
Which jobs specifically do you think could be transferred between different sectors?
There is a lot of crossover on the machine operating and the technicians. I think there will be some that can't transfer. So there are a lot of very specific driving jobs that are not going to work, that are not going to cross over, and there will need to be training that are set up. But we also need to do much more examination of exactly what skills we have in the existing coal mining operations and what skills we're going to need in the new ones. And there is not enough work going on that at the moment, but certainly some.
The New South Wales Government pledged $25 million today. Do you think it should be governments leading this project, or do you think it should be something done in conjunction with the private sector?
I do think it's appropriate for government to lead it. I think it needs to be really a coalition between the private sector and government, and really, really importantly, the actual communities. So it needs to be based around consultation in the affected communities, and I think that's what the government is aiming to do. But I do think it's appropriate for government to lead it.
Are there any other sectors that show the way here in terms of transitioning large amounts, very many workers from one sector to another? And I am thinking about whether the car manufacturing sector did end up being an example.
I'm afraid I just don't know enough about it to be able to. They certainly have had very big transitions, but it's not my area, so I couldn't say whether they've done it well. Certainly around the world, we're seeing this happening in the energy sector, and there are good examples and not such good examples. Germany has been pretty successful in their transition away from, of coal communities, and have really provide very good ways of consultation, and have really also shown that it takes time, and it takes quite a lot of work to do this successfully, and it needs both compensation, but also, really importantly, it needs just what you started off by saying, developing new industries.
And so just finally, can I ask for your reaction to what New South Wales did announce today, and whether that is a sufficient start to this process?
I think it's really good that it's a start. I don't think it will be enough, but I think what's really, really important is to be starting doing this and not leaving it until the last minute. And we are looking at something that's really going to happen over the next 15 years and, accelerate during that time. So I'm really happy that something has been announced and that it is being taken seriously, that we really do have to make this transition.
Jay Rutovitz from the Institute of Sustainable Futures at the University of Technology, but joining us from the UK. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.